I've been living in France for, I want to say, a little over a year and a half. And like the process of learning French hasn't been very easy, but you don't really realize like how much you know until one day you're like talking and like you're like, oh my god, I can say that, or you understood me, or that was good. And you can have a little conversation and it hits you like, oh my god, I can't believe I really learned all these words and put them all together like this. Yeah, so when I first came to France, I spoke zero French. Like when I went to my French language school, Selec and Saint Etienne, the first thing that you do is that they take you to this big room and they do an evaluation of your level of French. So basically what happens is the teacher sits you down and you have a pen and a paper, or pencil on paper, and you have to write down like maybe a little paragraph that can be describing yourself, what you do, where you come from. Another part would be oral comprehension, and they do that part as well, where the teacher reads slowly and has you write down in French. And this is like to gauge your level of French, right? And then after, they explain to you what's going to happen, the process of the school, how they're going to help you with the OFI process, and OFI process, and also with like insurance as far as your social security in France, because that's very important. And for me, my school actually mailed in my OFI application, which made it super easy. So all I had to do was wait for that email to come a couple months later and make my appointment and go to my appointment, which that was super simple. So after you do that little oral comprehension, writing, if you can write in French, they then take you upstairs in Selec or wherever you're going. They take you to another place where you sit down one-on-one with the teachers, and they gauge like, can you have a conversation, can you describe certain things. So when I went, I was like so nervous because I was like, oh my god, I don't know anything in French. And so when I sat down with the teacher one-on-one, the teacher was like, okay, and she was speaking to me in French, and so she was like, okay, can you describe to me your living room? And I was literally like, I have sofa. But I'm like, I don't know the word in French, so I was basically I was speaking English with like trying to make it sound French. Like, I have a photograph. Like, I don't know, like I literally didn't know how to speak any French, so I was just trying to describe different things, and it's like, okay, fine, you're at level A1 at the bottom, you're the beginner. And that's where I needed to be because I knew nothing. And so after that, you immediately go and sign up for your social security, which they have quite a few in Saint Etienne that you can go to, but I think most of us went to one. I forget the name of it, but I can link it down below. Very easy to sign up for, and then classes start after that, after the first 2 days, I believe, of orientation. Getting signed up, doing the OFI, getting social security, bringing in important documents, things like that. And then so in the classroom, I had, I believe, about 4 different teachers. I had a vocabulary class that I took, which was in a separate building. And then I had my teachers, they all taught us pretty much the same stuff, but in their own way. And class was only for about, I want to say, 3 hours. We finished at midday and we had about, I want to say, a 15-minute break. I could be wrong, but we had like a 15-minute break in between that class. And you could leave early if you wanted to. Sometimes I did for certain occasions, whatever. You don't have to have a reason or an excuse. You can just like leave during the break. And it was pretty great, and all my teachers were like totally different personalities and teaching styles, but they really did challenge us. And basically you learn from a workbook, and you have to practice writing simple sentences. Now, I was in level A1, so what it's like for A2, A3, B1, B2, I'm not exactly sure how those classes go or what you learn there, what the curriculum is. But as for me, I was in A1. We also followed along with like a disc, like a CD, and the guy was like speaking and we had to write down, what he was saying, or sometimes a teacher would read something or say something and we had to write down what he was saying. Just very simple like sentences to learn how to form the sentences. And then also we had to do like little group exercises, and at the end of that semester we had to do a presentation in French. I was so nervous, and I like to really prepare if I have to do something because I don't want to look stupid. So basically what we had to do is a presentation on the country that we were from, and my family's from Trinidad, and there are people from Vietnam, Syria, America like me, Peru, just many different places around the world. So it was really interesting to hear their presentation. So for me, what I did was I made different slides on PowerPoint. We all did that. And you have to write down what are the highlights of this country with food, what's the culture like, things like this. What's the weather like, basic presentations that you probably do in like the 4th grade maybe. But this was a really big thing because it's in a different language, so it's really scary to do. But I got up there and I practiced like maybe a week before, kind of just like saying it. But also you learn the French, throughout the time of your semester, so it shouldn't be super difficult for you if you're really grasping on to learning new vocabulary, learning how to form sentences. So it wasn't too difficult for me. So when I got up there, I didn't need to read off of like my phone or a card. Like I was able to just speak French. And I didn't try to do too much. I just basically stuck to the main points, and I did pretty great. But it was so funny because at the end of that, I was trying to like close out of the computer and I forgot how to say like close, which is like ferme or ferme. My accent, I don't even have a French accent, so it sounds kind of weird. But I was like, je closer la page, like I closed the page, and they're like, what? And it's like ferme, like to close the page. It's so funny because like sometimes you try to make like, if we didn't know, we just try to make the English word sound French, and it's like, don't do that. But anyways, yeah, all my teachers were pretty great. There was one teacher that we just didn't really like the teaching style, per se. I didn't really feel so challenged in one, just to be very honest. It just seemed like sometimes we were like little babies, and it's like we were coloring things, and it just seemed a little bit like, this is not what I came here for. I came here to learn sentence structure, vocabulary, not to sit down and like color and like cut out, pictures and paste it like we were literally kindergartners. But whatever, he got better after a while, and really I felt challenged, so anyways, and also we had to do a certain amount of hours in the library before we can actually get our certificate to finish. So by the time we finished our semester, we had to have a certain amount of time in the library. That can be used to do exercises on the computer, listening or looking at French movies, reading, practicing your writing, just things to, practice your French. And we had a little yellow card which you had to get stamps on from one of my teachers, who's also the librarian. You can borrow books, borrow French books. I definitely borrowed the ones with the CDs in it so that you can like listen and read along, so it helps you learn the French. And I didn't realize, like after, doing this level A1 class, I was able to have like little conversations. Thank you so much for watching my video, and I'll see you soon in the next one. I have new videos coming out every Monday and Friday, so stay tuned and subscribe and like, and I'll see you soon.